Welcome to a deep dive from AI Brief. Today we're digging into some pretty major movements in the AI space. We've got big releases, big strategy shifts, and, more ways AI is weaving into our daily lives and work.
That's right. It feels like a lot has happened just recently. We'll be covering some significant new models, how big companies are shaking things up, a really interesting take on the AI timeline itself, and some new ideas about AI agents, plus a roundup of other news and tools.
Okay, let's dive straight in. The first big one seems to be OpenAI dropping a new model, O3-Pro. But the headline isn't just the model, it's the price.
Absolutely. So O3-Pro is their newest reasoning model, specifically built to, well, think longer. Reports suggest it's got some serious performance improvements, especially for tough stuff like, advanced math, science, coding.
So it actually performs better on complex tasks?
Yeah, it seems so. It's apparently outperforming key rivals on PhD-level benchmarks, and human reviewers preferred its output. Early testers are calling it much smarter, very different.
Okay, interesting. Any downsides right now?
Well, the main things are speed. It's apparently a bit slower, and it doesn't do image generation or support their Canvas feature yet. But it can use tools like web search and data analysis.
And who gets access?
It's rolling out now for ChatGPT Pro and Team users. Enterprise and education users should get it next week.
Right, but let's get back to that price cut. You said it was significant.
Oh, yeah, it's dramatic. They've slashed prices for the O3 models by 80%. 80!
Wow, that's huge. Why does that part matter so much?
Well, it just changes the game economically. You've got these incredibly powerful models getting even better, hitting new performance levels, while the cost to actually use them is just plummeting. It puts, massive pressure on competitors like Google and Anthropic.
Makes advanced AI way cheaper to deploy.
Exactly. People are calling the combination of the capability jump and the price drop genuinely mind-blowing. It really lowers the barrier.
Okay. So speaking of competitors and big moves, Meta's making waves too. They're shaking up their AI division, launching what's being called a superintelligence lab, and bringing in some heavy hitters.
Yeah, this looks like Mark Zuckerberg really taking direct control. He's reportedly restructuring things inside Meta AI quite a bit, and personally picking the team for this new lab. Alexandr Wang, the CEO of Scale AI, he's taking a major leadership role.
Scale AI's founder, wow.
And he's bringing key technical people from Scale with him, too.
And the deal itself is interesting. It's not a simple buyout.
No, it's structured as a $15 billion deal where Meta gets a 49% stake in Scale AI. Seems partly designed to avoid the regulatory headaches of a full acquisition, maybe? Plus, it gives Scale shareholders a big payout.
And they're really going after talent hard.
Extremely hard. Reports say Zuckerberg himself recruited almost 50 researchers, offering massive packages like potentially 9 figures to lure top talent away from places like OpenAI and Google.
What's the trigger for this kind of, urgency?
It seems to follow some internal disappointment with how Meta's Llama 4 model performed. So the message is pretty clear. They need to speed things up drastically. They want to catch up, maybe even jump ahead of the current leaders.
So seeing Meta make such an aggressive play, spending huge money, reorganizing, what's the bigger picture here?
I think it signals that after Llama 4, Meta feels it needs a really dramatic shift. They're throwing serious resources, money, and structural changes at the problem to try and regain momentum in the AI race. It's a high-stakes attempt to keep pace.
And that pace, that speed of change, ties into a pretty fascinating perspective from Sam Altman over at OpenAI. He just put out a blog post saying we've already passed the AI event horizon.
Yeah, his post, The Gentle Singularity. That's his core argument, that humanity's already crossed that line. The takeoff, he believes, has already begun.
Okay, so what does he see coming? Is it the sudden AI takeover scenario?
Actually, no. His view is quite different. He thinks superintelligence will absolutely reshape society, but that the change will be manageable. He uses the term gentle singularity. The idea is society adapts quickly, even to exponential progress. New stuff becomes routine fast, much like it has with other big tech shifts.
A gentle singularity. Does he offer any kind of timeline?
He does, yeah. He predicts AI creating genuinely new ideas by 2026, robots functioning effectively in the physical world by 2027. Then, an explosion of creativity across different industries. Looking further out, like into the 2030s, he talks about abundant intelligence and energy with AI costs maybe approaching electricity costs.
And how does he think we get there safely? What's the path?
His main point is solving AI alignment first. That's priority 1. After that, it's about making sure superintelligence is cheap, it's distributed widely, and critically not controlled by just one group or company.
That's quite an optimistic take from someone right in the middle of it all. Why is his perspective important right now?
Well, it's a strong counter-narrative to a lot of the fear, right? He's basically saying, look, we humans are pretty good at adapting even to massive technological change. We've done it before, we can do it again, even with something as powerful as superintelligence. It's one possible future laid out by, a key player.
All right, let's shift gears slightly. Another player, Mistral, they've also got some new models out.
Yes, Mistral just launched their first models specifically focused on reasoning. There's Magistral Medium and also a 24 billion parameter open weight version. Like O3-Pro, the focus is improving that step-by-step thinking process for more accurate answers.
And how do they stack up against the competition?
They seem to be mostly holding their own against models like DeepSeek's R1. They're not quite at the level of the very top-tier models yet, like, say, Claude 4 or Gemini 2.5 Pro, but it's a solid step for Mistral into this reasoning space.
Do they have any specific strengths?
Yes. They're noted as being particularly good at reasoning across different languages. And they're apparently very fast, potentially up to 10 times faster than some competitors on certain tasks. So speed and multilingual seems to be their angle.
Okay, moving to something that sounds a bit like science fiction becoming reality. Agent swarms. There's a startup, Utori, rethinking how we'll interact with these things.
Right. This comes from some former Meta researchers. Their argument is basically that our current computer interfaces, mouse, keyboard, screen thing, they weren't designed for talking to intelligent AI agents. We need something different.
So what's their vision instead?
The lead, Debbie Purik, who used to head multimodal research at Meta, she co-founded Utori with a couple of former colleagues. Their goal is to build agents that can actually change how they communicate depending on the task. They call it a generative product interface, acting kind of like your own personal chief of staff.
And Utori is building this new kind of interface.
Exactly. And they've got some serious backing, already raised $15 million from names like Elad Gil, Mikhail Kostasta, and Feifei Li.
What's their first product?
It's a platform called Scouts. The basic idea is you can deploy these swarms of agents to constantly monitor things online that you care about and then act on them.
Okay, give me an example. What would that look like in practice?
So imagine you're looking for an apartment. You can set up a Scout swarm to watch multiple listing sites 24/7 and ping you the instant a place matching your criteria shows up. Or maybe track news on a very specific topic, follow your favorite sports team for crucial updates, or even have agents trying to grab you a tough dinner reservation or alert you about flight deals. It's automating all that constant checking we do. Beyond those really big headlines, there's also just a whole raft of other interesting AI bits and pieces happening.
Right, like OpenAI working with Google Cloud now, diversifying.
Exactly. They've signed a deal with Google Cloud for more computing power. Seems like a move to not be solely reliant on Microsoft, leveraging Google's infrastructure too, and Google's adding to its own creative tools.
Yeah, they've rolled out a faster version of their video model, VO3 Fast. It's going into Gemini and Flow, aiming for quicker video generation.
We're also seeing more negotiation around AI's impact on jobs.
That's the SAG-AFTR news. The Actors Union and major video game companies apparently reached a tentative deal. It could end a nearly year-long strike, and key points were about AI use and making sure actors are compensated fairly.
And Elon Musk's xAI is doing something interesting with Grok and predictions.
Right. They're partnering with Polymarket, that prediction market platform. The idea is to feed Polymarket's data into Grok, positioning it as a, quote, hardcore truth engine. Interesting approach.
Enterprise AI search seems to be booming too.
Yes, definitely. Glean, which builds AI search for businesses, just raised another $150 million. That puts their valuation way up at $7.2 billion. Huge growth there.
And in image generation, Kriya AI is trying to solve the AI look.
Yeah, they've launched their first model, Kriya 1. They claim it gives better aesthetic control and avoids that sort of generic style you sometimes see with AI images. We'll see how it pans out.
Apple's also opening things up for developers.
Yep, first time giving developers full access to their core AI models. They're hoping it sparks new app development, although early word is their models might still lag behind the leaders a bit in pure performance.
And finally, NVIDIA's applying AI to climate science in a pretty cool way.
Climate in a bottle, right. A model designed to predict atmospheric conditions globally down to a kilometer resolution, apparently up to 30 years out. Could be a really powerful tool for climate researchers.
Okay, let's quickly run through some AI tools that have been trending lately. Just a quick mention of what they do.
Sure, Exo Research Pro is getting buzz as a top agentic tool specifically for web research.
Then there are things called foundation models. These are tools for developers wanting to build on Apple's own on-device, AI, Apple Intelligence.
And related to that, Xcode 26, Apple's main coding tool, now has new ways for developers to plug into these AI models.
There's a huge data set called CommonPile v0.1 that's 8 terabytes of text data, public and licensed, specifically for training AI models. Scoop Analytics aims to help businesses turn data into clearer insights and make predictions using AI.
Creo AI looks geared towards video creators helping generate viral clips, doing AI dubbing, and video editing.
And PicBold is a neat utility for turning basic screenshots into nicer-looking visuals or mock-ups, useful for presentations and things like that.
Yeah.
So as we kind of pull back and look at everything we've covered, these incredibly powerful, cheaper models, huge companies restructuring, Sam Altman's, optimistic outlook, specialized tools like Yatori Scouts, it really makes you wonder.
Yeah, how does it all connect? I mean, are we seeing the pieces fall into place for that gentle singularity, that widely accessible superintelligence, or is it maybe more fragmented? Like, are we heading towards a future with tons of specialized AIs, intense corporate competition, maybe pulling things in slightly different directions?
It's definitely the big question hanging over all this rapid development, something to keep thinking about.
Well, we hope this deep dive helped you make a bit more sense of the key moves happening at the forefront of AI right now.
And to keep up with this pace, definitely make sure you're following AI Brief.
Absolutely. And if you found this useful, please share it with friends or colleagues who are trying to navigate this landscape too.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time.